Welcome back to MMA Oddsbreaker. Today we got CB Dollaway getting ready to fight Michael Bisping coming up UFC 186, April 25th in Montreal. This is kind of an interesting matchup for me. It seems to me, and Bisping is still one of the better trash talkers in the sport, but his skill level, it's not that it hasn't increased. I think he's starting on a downslide a little bit. I think he reached his peak, but I could be wrong. It could be just a training situation. It could be bad game plan against some of his opponents. Do you see him sliding down a little bit? I mean, he's already reached his peak, or do you see him as having some bad training camps lately?
You never know what's going on. I know for myself, I had a period there where were some injuries and stuff to where, I started to drop off. Mm-hmm. And, I was able to kind of come back from them and get on a good streak, until the recent fight with Lyoto. Yep. But, yeah, you never know what's going on in a guy's life. So, I'm not going to take him lightly. I know what he's done in the past, and, I know he's still relevant in the sport. And, I got to do everything I can do to ensure a victory.
They have you ranked, is it 10th right now in the middleweight? Is that
yeah?
Okay. We all know the rankings really don't mean much. I mean, you're a cancellation and 2 injuries away from being in a title shot. That's how it always works. So, This fight over Bisping, does it matter how you beat him to make you jump up the rankings, or do you have to knock him out to get a big jump? But will a decision give you a big jump as well? Does it matter?
I think a decision will. Obviously, if you can, get a highlight reel finish, or if you can finish him, it's going to leapfrog. Saw what it did for Luke Rockhold. It moved him all the way to number 3. But he went out and finished Bisping pretty easily. I think if I get past him, though, it'll definitely move me up. And, like we said, if you get a finish, it's going to leapfrog you.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong here. You've had a submission night, a KO night, and a two fighter nights. Is that correct? So you have that ability. You know that you have that ability to get that kind of highlight reel victory. And in one of your fighter nights, it was a decision win, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, split decision win.
So you know that you can always get that highlight reel. You've got that. You've done it before. You've done it in the past. Is that kind of a thought process, going through, is like, hey, I've got the ability to make a great highlight reel. Does that give you more confidence going into a fight? I know you're not thinking about it as, oh, yeah, I'm going to go make another highlight reel, but does it give you more confidence going into a fight?
Yeah, in the back of your mind, it can happen. You're capable of doing that. And, for me, I just need to go out and have fun, be loose, and, not worry about, what this fight could do for me and start putting that kind of pressure. Just go out, have fun, stay loose, and fight. I think that's a mistake I made in the Machida fight is, looking at all, like, just putting all that pressure. Like, if I win this fight, it could, mean a title fight, or I could be one fight away from a title fight. And started letting all that, kind of get into my head. And, I just need to go out there, be loose, have fun, remember why I got into this sport and why I'm doing what I do.
Did you realize that right after the finish of the Machida fight, you're like, wow, got back in the locker room, you're like, wow, I put too much pressure on myself, and this is what happened. Did you realize that right away, or did it take a week or two for you to finally come to that realization?
Yeah, I kind of realized it after, just that day of the fight, and a lot of nerves, that I hadn't had in the prior fights leading up to that one. I don't know, just too much thought into it, instead of going out there and just fighting, taking it one step at a time and worrying about the task in front of you. I was looking into the future and looking at, all the things that could come from this. So I have to win. I have to do this. And, it kind of took a little bit of the fun out of it. And, come April 25th, I'm going to go out, be loose, let my hands go, have some fun, mix it up. And that's when I put on my best fights. Those are the most exciting fights. And I got to get back to that.
What are you doing this training camp to make sure that it stays fun? Is there one thing that you do that's fun for you, that you make sure this camp stays fun the entire time?
No, I mean, even with the Lyoto fight, camp was fun. Everything was good. And then it was kind of that week of the fight, leading up to it, that I just kind of started thinking about everything. I always have fun. That's my favorite part of doing what we do is the training, being able to get up every day and go do something I love and get better at the sport of mixed martial arts. But yeah, that week when I got down to Brazil and all the media and doing all that stuff, I just kind of started letting it all, that pressure come, and everyone's talking about what the fight could bring, with a victory, and just kind of let it all get to me. And, I think that's just experience, that was my first time being in that position. And, now I feel like, I've been through it and have that experience, and it's never going to happen again.
And that's one of the toughest things, that fight week, especially, and being in Brazil against Lyoto, that they're going to put more pressure on you because that's what the fans want. That's what happens. Do you feel like sometimes that in America that the fans don't kind of have that pressure towards you because there's not so much, they're not, when you're in Brazil, it's you versus a Brazilian, you're going to get a lot of pressure from everybody. But up here in the States,
it's you versus, the Brazilian nationals, everybody, everybody's against you. Where, in the States, it's not like that. I don't know why. I guess just how it is. I think maybe their soccer culture down there is like that. They're very nationalistic. They're going to get behind their guy. And I think, America's made up of a lot of different ethnicities. And, so maybe that's why we don't get behind each other as much. But, down there, that's, if you're fighting a Brazilian, they're going to get behind their man.
Well, this next fight's up in Montreal. And obviously, Michael's English, you're American. Will it make a difference? Will there be a hometown advantage fan-wise from either one of you?
I don't think so. I think it'll be kind of a neutral battlefield. Probably both of us will have some fans up there, and both will have people that want to see us get knocked out. So, neutral battlefield, and I think, both of us kind of have something to prove coming off losses, and, we both want to, make that statement that we are relevant. We want to hop right back into, the title picture and get after it.
Let's change gears for a second. Did you watch any of the NCAA championship for wrestling this last couple weeks, or a couple weeks ago, rather?
Yeah, caught a little bit of, the quarterfinals and some of the semifinal matches. I always like to watch the semifinal matches. Those are some of the best because, those guys are fighting their tail off to get into the finals. So some good matches go down.
A lot of upsets this year. There's a ton of upsets, guys getting beat, getting out early. Now, I found out later it was because they changed how the seeding goes. Like they changed the criteria for the seeding. So like guys from, the guy from OU, Oklahoma University, that won it, he was seeded 13. It was like a big deal. He's going from 13 and wins it. But he was ranked as high as third throughout the season. They kind of changed the ranking system. Did you like the seeding system better this year because it caused so many more upsets and made a lot more fans come into it? Or is it one of those situations where it doesn't matter where anybody is seeded, kind of like in MMA? You might be seeded 10th, but tomorrow morning you could be in the title height. It's just how it works.
Yeah, I know. I know when I was there, I came in, I was like the 13 or 12 or 13 seed, and I ended up, placing fifth. That's what's awesome about the NCAA tournament. It doesn't matter where you're seated. It does help early on, but every guy there is capable of beating any other guy, A guy that's not seeded is capable of beating the number one guy. It's just, if he's on that day and he had a good weight cut and just feeling on top of the world, every guy is capable of beating anyone, and that's what makes it fun. That's what draws the fans in, I think. People love to see upsets.
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm always rooting for the underdog.
Always. Were you, in junior college, the year that you won it, were you seeded first going into the tournament?
No, I was second to Macenzio.
That's right. Okay. Yeah. So you are a big underdog believer. We've talked about before that you always root for the long shot. A lot of times in your fights, though, you don't ever consider yourself the long shot. You always have the confidence and the understanding that, hey, I'm going to win this fight. I'm going to be able to win this fight. How is that switch different with yourself versus a lot of athletes? I'm always rooting for the underdog. Well, then what do you feel like when you're playing on Sunday mornings? Oh, well, I'm the underdog. Like they believe that they're the underdog too, but you don't believe that. You always believe that you're going to go out there and you're going to win that fight, but you enjoy the underdog victory. You enjoy rooting for the underdog.
A lot of times, I'm put in the underdog, spot. They're like, oh, he doesn't have a chance. He's not going to beat this guy. But, just through my years of wrestling and whatnot, I've always known, I have that capability to pull big upsets off, beat guys that I shouldn't beat.
It looked like we lost CB right there. He ended up freezing. But anyway, another great interview. And
Sorry, phone call just
There we
came
go.
in.
Okay, I was wondering. We thought we lost you there for a second. Yeah, go ahead and finish up.
Yeah. Like I was saying, kind of had issues with consistency in the past. I'll be able to beat like a top guy and then go out and lose to someone who's not a top guy. And that's, finally kind of been a little more consistent as of lately. And it's just something I got to work on, making sure I go out there with that confidence. Hey, I'm going to win this fight, and I just got to go out and do it, not let the nerves and bad thoughts creep in right before the fight, and just got to go out there and perform.
Well, CB, thanks for coming out here to MMA Oddsbreaker. I appreciate it. Have fun against Bisping, and this is going to be a great fight. If anybody can, if they can get up there and watch this live, Montreal is a great place to watch a live fight if you haven't done it before, and that's April 25th, UFC 186. Thanks, CB. Take care, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Take care.